Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys and gals awesome interviews. And today it is an honor and privilege to have DC and Jimmy on the phone. They are from the Bastards, and we're going to be talking to them about their albums that they've got out and their singles that they've got out. They've done some really, really great acoustic stuff, in my opinion. So, guys, how's it going?
It's going good.
Going great.
Let's jump right into this. Give us a little background on how this band came about, and just and plus being just an acoustic duo. Let's talk about this.
We started in 2008, and we had the intentions of being like a full band when we started, and it found it being a lot easier, a lot more like intimate to do like two guys in acoustic, and I think it turned more into seeing like how far we could push what we were doing with the acoustic stuff,
Yeah, I mean, it started off with Dom and a couple of our friends, Whitey and Randy, and I think Curtis was doing it at that point too. And I came in during a hiatus with Whitey. He had went off to college, so I had a couple of things I wanted to show Dom, and when I showed it to him, we just kind of meshed, and we just have had chemistry ever since. So we've been just creating music ever since. So we've been making it since 2009, but he started in 2008.
So what's impressed you guys the most about making these albums? What's caught your eye about it, if anything, on these?
I'm always kind of proud of like how we're able to do it with the distance between us. I mean, we live 6 hours apart, so like being able to like write and record songs over emails, and I think it goes a lot to like how well we work together. You know what I mean? Like how well we know each other and shit. Because I could like hum out a tune and send it to him like, hey, you think you can turn this into like an actual song? And he'll record something like and shoot it back. Like, I don't know, you mean like this? Like, fuck yeah, we'll sit down and record it. And that's how we did, all of our albums since I moved over here. It was like 2010. So I don't know, it's been a couple of years that we've been recording this way. We've gotten pretty good at it.
We've been doing it for so long now, it's so natural to do it this way. I mean, we used to sit down and just like spontaneously record over a computer mic. I just got the idea one day to email him some tracks I was working on, and I mean, at first it didn't work so well, believe it or not. I mean, our early stuff was pretty bad, and it wasn't even called the Bastards then, but probably because it was so bad now. But it was like a work in progress. We had to like fine tune. Like it's funny. Until I moved out there to Pennsylvania and started emailing him tracks, still, it didn't really work well. So From 2015 on, it's really been working really well, and we've kind of just like honed in on our sound and on our craft, and with the things we're using to record, we've just kind of like got it down to a science, I guess.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, and this next question goes into this. You guys produce your own albums, and do you guys like the freedom to produce your own stuff? Because I know me and Dom talked about it a little bit last night, but I think what you guys are doing is awesome as far as sound quality and things like that of doing it yourself. So it's like I told him, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I like being able to have my hands on and being a part of it. We tried to have a buddy of ours mix and do some mastering to the last CD we were working on, Being Human. I mean, things kind of ended up falling through with it, but that didn't bother me as much as like sitting there like waiting to hear back and hear what's going on and not being like in the process and actually like doing the shit. I really like having my hands on this stuff, and I'm pretty sure Jimmy does the same. He knows how he wants the guitars together. It works easier when we're handling it, I guess.
Absolutely. I love being able to have freedom to do it. I mean, me and Dom are so good at what we do. I mean, not trying to like, shoot my own horn or anything, but we know what we want, so it's really easy to produce it ourselves that way. I mean, when I started going to recording everything via my phone instead of microphones, it just really amped everything up. But believe it or not, when I used to record with actual equipment, it sucked ass.
Are there any songs off the albums, any albums that you guys done that are standing out more to each of you, possibly?
I don't know. I mean, our last CD, the one we just released, is by far my favorite, and that's just because the quality, for some reason, keeps getting better and better every time. I mean, the first 3 tracks on that record are probably my favorite, and the last track on the record is probably my favorite. And the first 3 tracks, the intro, Demons and Black Mass, just almost sound like one track, and that's not a bad thing. It's just like all one big sound, and it's epic in a way, and it's just real atmospheric, and I love making music like that. And the last song is just such a good send-off, and it just ends on such a good note. And Dom could probably explain this a lot better than me, but I don't know, that's my take on it.
Off the new record, I like a lot of the stuff that we did. I mean, Jimmy's a lot more artistic, I think, than I am. You know, I mean, he did most of the writing and crafting for the new CD, and I think everything that, you know, like all the vibes and like the emotion behind that really came from him, and I just kind of like added what I was able to do on top of it. I like the CD as a whole. I think one of my favorites is the track we did with Jesselyn, Drag Me to Hell, and that was kind of funny. Jimmy came out to visit for a couple days, and he was hanging out. We were downstairs just jamming and recording, and it was a riff that he had wrote while I was at work that day. He came out. He goes, "Oh, you know, I have this idea here," and we sat down and recorded the song. I thought it'd be cool if we had, you know, female vocals on it. And Jess is a really good singer. You know, she's got her own band, Jesselyn, and she's a really good singer. I wanted to have her involved in it, so she added the vocals to the chorus and the pre-chorus and everything. And that's one of my favorites because it's 3 people in 3 different states, you know, recording something over email. And I don't know, I was really proud of that.
Yeah, Out of the Grave too. I really like this album. Just Like Us, Making Monsters, and In the Rain, featuring Rob Dead. This is a pretty good album from you guys. Plus the other ones, Out of the Grave, the original, plus Being Dead. That's another one, or Being Human. I'm sorry, another great one. I like this music.
No, I appreciate it. Being Human's my favorite that we've done so far. You know, I mean, I like a lot of like hardcore punk. I listen to a lot of like Henry Rollins and the Circle Jerks and, you know, Fear and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I thought we were able to capture a little more of that element in that CD. So that's my favorite CD that we've done so far, just because, you know, I didn't have to sing so much. I got to like yell and be stupid, you know.
How much growth musically have you seen this band go through, guys, since the formation of the Bastards? I know you guys been playing a couple years apart, but let's talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, when we started, we were mostly blues. You know, we did a lot of blues stuff, but I was like, you know, horror movies and, you know, the horror genre and everything like that. So I incorporated that into like really like standard blues. Like when me and Whitey started, it was pretty like generic blues riffs, and, you know, we didn't experiment too much. And then when me and Jimmy started playing together, we were doing a little more like jam band kind of things. And like, honestly, what we used to do is we'd sit down at the computer, I'd hook up a microphone, and he'd kind of play a little riff, like, all right, that's good, let's play a song. And he'd write it on the spot. And then, you know, a couple days later, I'd sit down and I'd write some vocals to it. And that's how we used to write just like all of our music when we first started. You know, so I think right now we're able to sit down, have like a little more thought out process behind like the songwriting. That's a big benefit.
Yeah, when I first came on, I was kind of doing the traditional kind of like blues thing too. It's like our very first song was called What I've Done, and it sounded like straight up blues. And I mean, it took a minute to really like get our sound. I mean, our first 2 records, well, not really records, but the first 2 things that we recorded were really blues-esque. After Dark is really like a southern kind of like blues kind of thing going on. Mm-hmm. And then Hollow Ground was another kind of like demo thing we did that was a little more like filthy and like spooky, I guess, like spooky blues, I guess you could call it. But
that would be cool. Spooky blues. I'd like to hear some of that.
We might revisit that. I actually wouldn't mind doing that. I've been craving some blues in my life, so.
For sure. Yeah, that would be cool. I would like to hear some like horror, spooky blues. That'd be kind of cool, man.
Yeah, I think at this point we might be able to do something a little better with it. You know, back then, you know, 17, 18 years old, you know, like recording the stuff. And, you know, we didn't really know what we wanted to do. We just wanted to make music. And we were, you know, and looking back on it, it's nostalgic. I don't know if it's really good. It's nostalgic.
Well,
I still listen to it.
You got to go back and listen to where you came from, you know, where you started out to where you come from now, and be like, I do that in my interviews. I go back to my very first start and I cringe. I'm like, oh my God, did I really sound like that? I mean, geez, that's horrible.
Well, I just posted on Bandcamp. I posted a collection series. It's all of our demos from back, like, you know, when it was me and Whitey like first starting out, up to like, you know, where Jimmy came into it, and everything up until like our current stuff. And it's all of our demos and like the old songs we did. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff on there that's like absolute nonsense, but it's kind of cool to look back, like you said, you know, look back to where you came from and, you know, what got everything going to where it is now.
Sure. Do you guys do anything differently to keep your mind fresh and open to new stuff, to, you know, to stay focused on the horror punk stuff?
I rely on Dom for that. he'll send me a lot of tracks for bands that I've never heard of, and I immediately get into them. And then it's sounds that I've never heard before, and genres that I've never really dabbled in, and I really try to use that as much as I can when I try to write something. But it's really about not forcing it. So if I try to force something out, it's going to be shit, and I don't want that. So really, we're just lucky enough to put out the quality tunes we can as fast as we can. Like I said, it just comes down to that chemistry, and we work so well together that it just works out that way.
For me, I mean, this is like a fun hobby for me. I'm a cop when I'm not doing this stuff. So it's nice to be able to take a break from doing police work and dealing with like real life stuff and, write a song about a monster.
Yeah.
Like it's a good release for me. It's a nice little escape from like actual reality. So I'm always focused on it because it's something different,
Hey, you can go drive around, play some punk music and put on your PA speaker while you drive around in your patrol car. There you go.
That's like when I have somebody in custody, I make them listen to my music on the way to jail.
There you go.
Sucker.
Man, sheep, man. Oh, that's good. If they don't like it, say, well, you're going to jail anyway.
Yeah, they just drive slower.
Yeah, exactly. Why is this song on repeat? Why? What about local support? Do you guys get local support possibly when you guys play locally or anything? Has folks reached out to you to give you some support?
I've had a lot of guys reach out and ask us to play for, open up shows for them and stuff like that. But I mean, with the distance between us, we don't have time to like sit down and practice and, like hone any type of live show. So really, we just kind of stick to recording. But we get a lot of support from the horror community. Wolfman Chuck. I mean, he's been right there since we started back up in 2015. I mean, he was one of the first guys to reach out to us, and I mean, he helped us get on different acoustic compilations, and I mean, he's the one who releases all of our CDs and puts them up for sale and everything like that. The Dead House was another one that, I mean, right from our first CD, they started doing, real in-depth like interviews with us and reviews of the albums and everything like that. So we've had a lot of guys that have had our back and supported us a lot. And I mean, I'm really appreciative of it, because it wouldn't be the same if you didn't have anybody to play the music for,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Dom takes care of all the promotion. I just write the tunes. So, I mean, when it comes to people promoting us and supporting us, that's all him reaching out and taking care of that. So thank God for him. But no, we're real excited about, the people. Like, the thing is, we used to make music just for me and him, like just so that we could have music to listen back to. So it's been real surreal that anybody likes the music that we put out, that we have any kind of following. It's just an added bonus. I just like playing guitar is what it is. And I like playing with him. As far as like live stuff though, I would love to play live. If we lived close enough, I would love to do it. We played live one time other than the live discs we put out, and it's a shame, but it is what it is.
I discovered you guys on Horror Punks Unite. The Dom actually posted a link in there of the band, and I listened to it and actually fell in love with it. I was like, this is pretty damn awesome. Some good stuff.
I appreciate it, man. That's a lot of people post their stuff up in on those sites, and I know what it's like when we're posting our music up there. You're hoping that like one or two people take the time to listen to 45 seconds of the song and go like, that's pretty cool. I try to take the time anytime somebody posts something. I get the alert on my phone and try to listen to it and hear what it is, because like I say, what it's like, posting stuff up there and hoping that there's an ear out there listening.
So let's go this route. If you guys start to take this out on the road or whatever, what can they expect at a show from you guys? Possibly, what would you have in your mind?
I don't know. When we played shows like like the little stuff we did here and there out in Ohio, it's like grad parties and shit for our friends. Like it just acoustic stuff. I don't really know what we'd put into a full show.
Right.
Yeah, especially with the stuff we're putting out now, because I'm guilty of like overdubbing and layering so much because I have that luxury because we don't play live, so I can get away with it. So we would have to figure something out, hire some guy to play other parts, maybe just strip it down. Stripping it down might not be so bad. I mean, we like our live disc Return of the Vampire was all stripped down, just me and him on a one take, so we could probably get away with it. It might not be as enjoyable, but it'd be fun.
I think we need to bring in like 6 or 7 backing vocalists. Somebody to carry me,
Because I sure as hell can't do it.
I know this is the digital era that we're living in, guys, of recording albums and do it yourself. So I imagine you guys prefer this, or would you actually like to work in a studio at some point with somebody?
I think it'd be interesting to try. We in like 2009 or so, when me and Whitey were recording some of our songs, we had a buddy sit down and record us, and I mean he added drums and everything like that. But it didn't feel like our music. I mean, it was a good recording. The quality was good. You know, it's nice to hear everything at the levels it's supposed to be and mixed and mastered right and everything like that. But I don't know. It didn't feel like natural. You know, it
Right.
felt like something we did in the studio. And I really like being able to basically just sit in my bedroom and record into my computer and hope that it doesn't sound like shit when I'm done. You know?
Yeah, same here. I mean, it'd be nice to have it professionally done, but again, we really just like the freedom of doing it ourselves the way that we want to hear it. And I think that we're not experts in engineering or recording in any scope of that, but I think we do pretty well. I mean, it's progressing, and that's a good thing. So, I guess don't knock it till you try it. Me and him have never done it in the studio, so
Well,
why
look,
not?
well, look at it this way too. I mean, social media has definitely helped you guys out a lot. I'm sure you guys have sold a bunch of these albums that you put out. I'm hoping possibly.
I
I
wouldn't have
have
any
no
idea.
idea. Yeah, when it comes to like the actual sales, Chuck handles all that, and we never look to make any money off this stuff. You know, I mean, it's something fun and it's cool to get the name out there and everything like that. Chuck handles all of that, so I mean, I see what happens like digitally on the Bandcamp, and I mean, people will buy the music on there. We post it all up for free, but you know, some people are cool about it and they throw us a couple bucks for the CD, and usually I just put that into merchandise. I make up shirts for us and fucking pins or something like that, and just put it all towards that kind of stuff.
I just want to say we probably, besides the merch, we probably spend more than other people spend on our music to like re-up on the download plays because those run out on Bandcamp after a while and we have to re-up them. Well, Dom does. I don't spend any money, but he does.
Jimmy's just along for the ride, man.
Hey, he carries me through most of it. If you listen to some of our old demos on the collections I put out where I tried to make the music, you'd see why I definitely need this fucker.
I do what I can.
I'm physically challenged.
In your guys' own opinion, what does the Bastards bring to the table for music that's not out there right now?
I mean, there's so many bands I think that do kind of what we do. Like as far as like we've seen like I don't know, like the Mutant Members Only Club and Wolfman Chuck. There's like bands that kind of do the stripped down thing we're doing. But I think as far as our sound, I'm kind of biased, but I feel like we're a little unique in what we do. I haven't really heard anyone that does it quite like we do. I mean, there are bands that were around doing it before us, but I don't hear anyone that sounds exactly like a copycat Bastards or that we sound like a copycat whoever. I don't know if that's the best answer I got, kind of.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like just with any genre, every artist should have something to say. I mean, you don't start making music to just rip somebody off. That never goes good. So I think it's just whatever song we have in us. That's kind of what we're adding out. It's a new song. Maybe it's a new sound. Maybe it's a new style. Like the new CD is a lot dark, a lot more almost like gothic influenced stuff to an extent. And I mean, guys like Shadow Windhawk. I mean, he does a lot of that stuff. He's got a lot of darker music, and I mean, it fits kind of along that. But then if you were to compare like his CD to like Being Human, like I think that one had more like Savage Remains kind of influence to it. Like we kind of bounce all over.
What made each of you want to become a musician? What was that spark that said, I really want to do this?
I actually originally wanted to be a drummer, and it was because my dad had a music shop and he had a drum set, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was like 12. And one day I was walking through an H.H. Gregg and saw a guitar, and I immediately just switched my mind. Like, it was just like magic. And I got my first guitar a year later when I turned 13 and powered through learning by myself. I never took lessons or nothing, but I just was so like in a trance from guitar and music. It just hit me. And I just never put it down. I just worked on it every single day and annoyed the shit out of my family, and eventually got to where I am today, which isn't too much further down the road. But yeah, that's kind of how I started.
Yeah, and I don't know. There was always just something I was looking for in like certain songs. Like I wanted to be able to write a song that something I was feeling. That basically, I mean, we were in high school when I got interested in it. Everybody was trying to start up bands then, and I just thought like, that's kind of cool, but this is what I would do. And eventually we just did that, you know?
Do you guys have anything that you're working on right now, or planning on doing anything here next couple months or anything like that, possibly?
Believe it or not, we're like so close to finishing up a follow-up to Out of the Grave Part 2. And I don't know how we're going to release it, but I mean, we're constantly writing. So, I mean, we've always got songs in the bank just waiting. So, I mean, we're like 5 songs or something from finishing that up without going into too much detail. I mean, Dob can add the spoilers. I don't like doing that, but yeah, we're always writing. So there's always going to be something in the works. We just got to find a release date for it is all it is.
Yeah. Well, John, I think I sent you the After Dark album when we did that. I mean, we recorded that sometime last year.
Yes, sir.
And that was a lot of our old stuff that we re-recorded, and we just never really found like the right time where it felt like to release it. You know, we like having music, we like being able to put it out there, but you don't want to like overburden everybody with releasing 15 songs every like 2 months.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna want to listen to you because you kind of oversaturated the music out there, which is why like. If you follow our Bandcamp, I pull a lot of our stuff down, and I'll post things up and then take them down a couple days later, just so there's not like a shit ton of our music out there. So After Dark, I mean, we recorded that I think before Being Human last year, so it's sometime in like the summer, and we just never got around to releasing it. So right now it's just kind of like the album sitting on the shelf, you know.
I just like to say you guys have full support from BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. So anything that you guys want me to put in rotation on the station that streams 24/7, I will do so. So that way when anybody goes to the station, listen to the music streaming, you'll play your guys' song as well. So you got that from me.
Hey, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
How can folks stay in touch with you guys, pick up these albums, tour dates, if you guys ever do any open shows? How can they do that, guys?
Our Facebook's probably the easiest way to keep in touch with us. I mean, like I said, I get alerts to my phone, so I try to get back to people as soon as I can. They either give me through there, like I have an art page that people hit me up for stuff on that a lot. And the records, Ukulele Horror Records, is who releases our album. So I mean, if anybody out there likes to collect music and wants like an actual like physical copy of the CDs, Ukulele Horror Records, Wolfman Chuck runs that, and they distribute all of our stuff. I mean, he's real good about it.
Before I let you guys go, would one of you care to do a promo for the show?
Yeah, this is DC Disaster, the Bastard. You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.